enough. All right, welcome to the podcast. If you're hearing my voice and it doesn't sound like the normal dulcet tones that you're used to, it's because allergy season has arrived for me. Yes, for others, it's arrived sooner. For myself and Chris, we've been hit by 2 Mack trucks in the last. Well, for Chris, it's been 4 weeks, and myself, it's been the last week and a half. I started sneezing a week and a half, and I was like, "Oh, here we go." Yeah. And then last Thursday and Friday into Saturday, it was like, bam, and I was like, "Gosh, dang it." So my voice sounds deeper and darker. I can do a really good, I'm Batman, pretty serviceable without having to hurt myself. That's always fun. So I'll contract myself out to Warner Brothers for their, I'm Batman moments. Tell me where the Joker is. That was
pretty good, actually.
Kevin, I think it's Kevin Conroy. No, does Kevin Conroy? Yeah, Kevin Conroy does Batman. And he does a really good Batman and a really good Bruce Wayne. But the Batman is very breathy, but it's also very authoritative. Tell me where the Joker is. He does sound a little bit like him. I like that.
Pretty good.
I'm going to be a little proud of myself right now. I'm going to say I've got a good Batman coming up on the County Gamers.
Oh, you ought to do it that way.
I have an opportunity. I just have to stay allergic. So I need to go out in the fields and collect allergies to regularly dump them myself once a week, so I can keep my voice like this and be a voice actor on the Batman scene. Kevin Conroy, hear me out. I'm coming for you. I'm Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Oh, that was good. That was really good. I heard
that's there we are. I'm a 40-year-old rural teacher in Fort Morgan, Colorado, in the middle of nowhere, and I apparently have a Batman renaissance in my voice acting future that will last until I get either allergy meds or the allergies pass. So it's a limited opportunity. Yep. I'll probably lose it in a week, but for the moment, there we are. So that's my allergy story. I've turned into Batman, which is great. If I had to turn in anybody, I'd take Batman over anybody else any day. Your allergies, of course, have been going on for a while.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
It's fantastic.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Are you taking allergy meds or no?
I started, yes, Claritin, and it really, really, after about 3 days, it cleared it all up.
I think I'm going to have to go for some Claritin because I'm just I can't keep doing this. My your nose just is in a constant state of irritation. You can just feel your nose reacting to the allergy, to the allergens, and you're just I don't want to live with this anymore. I need to amputate my nose, which is not an option, or I need to get some medical treatment.
Yeah, no kidding.
Once in pill form with some Claritin or whatever else they have in the world today. So today on the podcast, we're going to talk about some computer games. We talked about it for a little bit. So hold on, strap in, buckle in. We'll see how long we talk. Thanks for listening to The County Gamers. My name is Aaron.
And my name is Chris.
And I'm Batman.
Yes.
Where's my Batmobile? Robin, get it now. All right, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Aaron.
My name is Chris.
And this is the County Gamers. Now, we have 2 games we're going to talk about today. We might wander into some other games here in a little bit as well, but the first 2 games, Chris finally beat a game. A game that I... Congratulations, Chris. Here's your gold, non-existent star that we're not going to give you. He played... It's a game called Into Darkness or Into the Darkness?
From the Darkness.
Oh, I got it completely backwards. From the Darkness video game. Yeah. This game came out last year. Yep. It's on Steam. It's a psychological horror game with a scary... atmosphere. The game takes place in an old Soviet abandoned apartment. Recent reviews, 38 very positive. All reviews, 1,116 very positive. So not like a well-known game, I'm guessing.
No.
And that's the interesting thing about Steam. Sometimes you can find some games that are not well-known, but they've got a good fan base to it. And a lot of times you'll finally be like, oh, this is actually not bad. So talk us through From the Darkness. What got you into it? What it was like to play it? What it was like to beat it? Because I don't often beat games either. I don't play games to beat them. Yeah. And I've got plenty of unfinished games that I haven't beat or haven't finished.
Me too.
So talk us through From the Darkness.
Okay, everybody. I'm Batman. No, I'm not Batman.
You're not Batman. I'm Batman.
Yeah, I can't do it that
You
good.
can be Robin. Okay.
I'm Robin.
That's accurate.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
Don't apologize.
That was beautiful. So everybody, this game From the Darkness, I believe I saw I think it was a video on YouTube from somebody. I don't remember who. And I'm like, "Whoo, that game looks pretty interesting." So I said, "You know what? I'm gonna buy it. $7 on not Amazon. My goodness, Steam.
Steam. Yep, $6.99 as of now, actually.
Yep. So I bought it, and oh my goodness, this was one of the creepiest games I've ever played in my life. This game creeped me out. So you start off in this. As you do things, you unlock certain areas. Like you notice that things start to move. Like there's this little creepy Chucky doll.
Oh, that's my favorite. That's my favorite kind of doll. Is the creepy Chucky dolls.
I call it. Let's see if I can find a picture of him.
Please don't. I need my nightmares to be at least Chucky free.
Right there.
Okay, well that's great. Now I have him. Great. Thanks,
now you're gonna have
Chris.
He's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he moves to the corner, so
even better. He moves around.
He moves around. Yes.
I say this because I don't play these games. They freak you out.
Yeah.
They freak me more than I just can't. I cannot. Even if I had every light in the room turned on and I had lamps all around me bright and I had I birds from Snow White and I had unicorns and rainbows in the room, I still couldn't play these scary games.
Oh, I love them.
I know. I think for me it's scary. It's not it's not that I don't like being scared, but I don't like being scared. I don't like the fear aspect of it. Some people like you can handle it.
I love it.
You have a healthy appreciation for it.
Yeah.
I just don't the most at some point, and we'll probably have to do it for the channel for my YouTube channel, but also for the podcast. There's a game that Alien Isolation is a terrifying game, and but it's a game that as terrifying it is, it's not From the Darkness. It's not this level of horror scare.
Oh yeah,
but it is absolutely a scary game. And it's hard. You have to really work hard to play it. But one of my favorite YouTubers out there. Did a playthrough, and it's absolutely hilarious, what he went through to get to the end of the game.
Yeah.
So it's these scary games are not my favorite. I'll eventually have to play Alien Isolation probably to kind of get that through.
$10.
Huh?
$10 on
$10.
Steam. Yeah.
$10 to scare me out of my mind. Great.
Sounds
good times.
Good to me.
All right, back to From the Darkness, which I will never play, to be clear.
So basically what you do is you start off in this apartment and you don't know anything. You don't know what's happened. This game, I beat my head against the wall trying to figure out some of the things to do. It took me forever. And then, did you just see that picture where all those people are standing there?
Yeah.
That part made me scream.
Yeah.
I walked around the corner and I'm like, why are those people there? Why are they standing there looking at me?
Right.
So then I'm like, you know what? I got to be brave. So I walked through the middle of them, and when I turned around, everything was normal again. I hate when they do that. But then there was a body in the wall.
Okay.
Yeah, on the right side. There's a body in that right side wall I found.
Okay.
Later, because I kept hearing it make this weird noise. So basically, there's this big guy. I don't know what his story is, but he's kind of creeping you out through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he kind of follows you all through the game. He's at the very beginning, and then he follows you through.
Okay.
And man, this game was very good.
Okay.
For $6.99.
$6.99. Okay.
That's pretty good.
It's not a long game by any means.
No.
Okay.
I think if I would have actually went through and played it instead of beating my head against the wall and walking around for 3 hours.
As you do.
Yep.
Okay.
I think I ended up beating it in I think both videos together were about an hour, 10 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, it wasn't very long. That game looks pretty cool too.
So any last thoughts on From the Darkness? Why should someone play that game? It's obviously it's $6 or $7 or whatever.
I mean, it's cheap and it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a quality game.
That's one of the things about Steam is you find a lot of these independent either studios or independent guys that do these games.
Yeah, they're good.
They they're not AAA like games. Like they're not making deep games, but they're making fun games for an affordable price.
Yep.
And you play it and you're like, dang, that was really good.
Yep.
And then word starts to spread, and then people start buying more of those games, and that helps those independent studios or those independent guys continue to produce good stuff.
Yep.
And then from the Darkness cases, that could be a thing where it doesn't appear to be very popular ish among but it could be a situation where people are like, oh my gosh, this is really good. So from oh boy, you can't even do that because it's From the Darkness. So from talking about From the Darkness, because I was going to try to say from the darkness, but that doesn't make sentence sense.
That's okay.
Oh, the allergies are getting to my brain. So from the Darkness, we move into the Stanley Parable.
Yep.
Now, the Stanley Parable originally came out, if you can believe it, in October of 2013. So the Stanley Parable it reads on Steam. The Stanley Parable is a first-person exploration game. You will play as Stanley, and you will not play as Stanley. You will follow a story, and you will not follow a story. You will have a choice. You will have no choice. The game will end. The game will never end. The Stanley Parable, the beauty of it is that it is a psychological kind of game, and there's multiple points and multiple narrative points, but they split off and they come back together and then they circle back around. It is confusing, but in a way that's like gentle, like ribbing you, like it's kind of making fun of you. There's a narrator. He will narrate along with you. And if you don't do what he says, he'll be like, look, you need to do this. And then if you go off and he's like, okay, well, now you're in for it. And so it's this kind of like you're set, but you can also break loose and break free.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So the ratings on this game, all reviews are the overall aggregate average is very positive for 36,640 reviews.
Jeez.
That's a lot. And it was a darling when it came out in 2013, and it has been a darling since. Multiple playthroughs I've watched people play through, and it is a blast because there are so many different places you can go and different ways you can do it, and then different ways that the game pushes you back, but then like pushes you back, and you're like, okay, well, I'm back there, but then you have now like two other choices you can make when you get to a certain point, and then you get deeper into the game, and as you go, you go, you go. So you can follow the traditional route, like the traditional narrative.
Yep.
Or whatever, but you can also get like several different endings and several different secret endings and different it's very interesting because it is playing with your brain, but it's also making you remember stuff. And it's a lot of fun. And I haven't played it full through. I played a little bit of it back in the day, and it's you have to be thinking, you have to be on your toes when you play the Stanley Parable. But it's a fun game. And
it looks cool.
It's been around since 2013. But what I didn't realize is that they came out with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Yes, they
that
did.
released on April 27th, 2022. And so far, in those couple of days, there's been 6,285 reviews, and the review aggregate average is very positive.
Turn.
So it
must be really good then.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, like reviews on here about how good it is and stuff like that, but it is a fan game. Like the Stanley Parable became just kind of a game that people played and had fun with, and it was a lot of fun to play around with. And so it's almost a cult classic in some ways if you want to go there. With certain games that people are like, oh, like either you know about the Stanley Parable or you don't, because it hits such a small market, but it's grown within its communities, and now you have the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. There's some people who are kind of like mad about it, like some negative reviews. It's pretty amusing, unfortunately, aside from a couple of fun sequences. Most of the time it's the jokes that would have been funny in 2013. And I think that's the point. I think something like when you read that review, you're like, did you miss the joke? Because that might have been the joke.
That was the joke.
That was you. The joke was here, and you just woo. So it's interesting. There are some negative reviews. So yeah, it's by a company called Crows. And they've put out a bunch of games. The Stanley Parable, obviously, Ultra Deluxe is theirs. And I don't know who put this original Stanley. Oh, so the Stanley Parable originally came out from Galactic Cafe, and I'm guessing either they got bought out by the Crows people, or whatever, because that happens. Like, companies get bought out. We can actually research that really fast. So Stanley Parable developer bought out? Was it
bought a house?
I don't know. I can't remember if it was. Let's see. Who owns the Stanley Parable? So it's Crows. Publishers is Crows. So it looks like I guess they went to whoever. Okay, so Dave Render and William Pugh, they are with Crows.
Yeah.
So they changed or moved to a new company.
Yeah. And just took the game with them.
Yep, and so they've got. I mean, you look at Crows. They've got a lot of different games. Actually, they don't have a lot. They've got they've got Accounting, which is an interesting game. Accounting Plus is a nightmare adventure comedy, and then Accounting Legacy from 2016. And
VR only. Look at that.
Oh, I hate VR games.
Okay, I like the what was that game called? The one I bought my son.
Well, Chris tries to figure that out.
Yeah.
So anyway, Crows has put out the sequel. It looks like they're the same. They're the same owners and people who brought the other one. So, I will probably pick up the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe just to play it because I remember playing the Stanley Parable and enjoying it. But it's a very meta game. Like it does kind of push the needle on making you cranky, and it stresses you out a little bit. But it's a fun little game. It's one of those games where you come you come across it, and I'm just people are like, really, was that any good? I'm like, it's awesome. Oh my gosh, okay, I'll check it out. And then more people get into it. It kind of spreads virally. People start to figure out what kind of cool game it is. But yeah, Stanley Parable is a fun one. And that's I have no other games to talk about.
I do.
Oh, you do? Good, because I don't. What else we got?
So there's a game on, I believe, Steam called Visage.
You've talked about this before, haven't you?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, Visage.
Oh crap! There it is.
Yep, $34.99.
Darn, is it really that much? Holy crap! It is that much, isn't it? How much did I get it for then?
I don't know.
I think I must have bought it when it was on sale. It must have been on sale. This game, now this one is special.
Okay.
So this one has a main story, but then it has sub-stories. Yeah, that crap's terrifying.
Okay.
Yeah, it is horrifying. So this game, it's a main storyline.
Okay.
But then it has sub-stories of certain people.
Okay.
So when you originally, this game is so much fun. When you go originally into the house,
right,
you're kind of walking around. You don't really know what to do. And so you have to go get a key, then another key.
Right.
And then you unlock a story of a person.
Okay.
So you go up the stairs into the bedroom.
Right.
And it unlocks a story.
Okay.
Of a particular person, which is no longer alive.
Okay.
And it is just the creepiest. Oh my goodness, that game is so creepy.
Okay.
It's fun though.
If you're looking for a creepy game for $34.99, it's been out since October 2020. Recent reviews, very positive, 71. Average, all reviews, very positive at 5,303. So it looks like it's had some staying power in the last 2 years. And this is I will freely admit that I watch playthroughs of these games, and it's a genre. Like these scary puzzle game series.
They're awesome.
They're definitely a genre. And I wonder and I worry if we're going to hit a saturation point if we already haven't with this series, with these kind of games. Yeah. Because, game developers and individual developers they're in it to make money. They're in it to make a name for themselves and to establish themselves and to make an impact on the gaming community. They want to be noticed. They want to be whatever. And so I've seen enough of these to know that it's there's a lot out there. But it's also just have we hit a point where this kind of stuff is too much? And the answer is I don't know. I don't play enough of these games to tell you. But there's Dead by Daylight and all these other game series like The Hunt Showdown, Resident Evil Village, The Forest.
Forest is good.
Yeah, but then there's copies of those and so there's almost it feels at times that there is a bit of a bit of oversaturation of it at times. But I don't play it, so I don't know. There's a lot of it out there, and I guess we talked about this before. I'm really traditional. Just give me a thing to explore and learn and whatever. It's interesting. I have not gone back to play Cyberpunk 2077
at all. Huh?
We talked about how they put all the updates and the part of me that and I think this is the same thing with Dying Light and Dying Light 2.
Yeah.
I got to a point with him where I was okay, well, yeah, but what? Especially Dying Light. My frustration with Dying Light was that I was the bad guy all of a sudden. Like I was destroying stuff and I wasn't helping people. And I know their goal was to get you to feel bad and to like, but I just, like there were certain points in the game and it was so hard. Like I was trying to climb a ladder or trying to climb a thing and I couldn't get up there for the life of me. And I had to go and cheat. I had to go and use cheese and like use a trainer to climb up this stupid like broadcast tower because I couldn't figure out how to do it. Like I was like, am I stupid? Am I dumb? Like, and because what they do is the game companies and the designers, they're like, well, we got to have a challenge. It can't be easy for them. We got to make it harder for them. Yeah. And it's like, yes, but I want to have fun while I'm playing a game.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to like make sure I hit that space bar just the right amount so that I jump just the right amount to get it. Like, don't make it so that I'm just going to sit there for literally 15 to 20 minutes trying to figure out where to jump, where to go, and how to get up there. Like, no. And it's glaring in Dying Light in the first couple of hours, and I got to a point where it's just like, how do I get out of here? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Yep. And so I haven't gone back to Dying Light. And this is the same thing with like Tom Clancy's series. I played Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I've played Ghost Recon, the one where they're in the Central American country. I've even like the Division 2. Like, I don't want, like, I enjoy going in and shooting guys and stuff. Yeah. But there's a part of it that it gets harder. Like, you level up, but there's also that part of like, and this is the struggle for me because I am not a competitive gamer. I've talked about this before. I am not competitive. Yeah. And so when I get into a game where I have to be competitive, where I have to like the first person shooters where I have to like the bullet sponges and stuff, I'm just like, don't bullet sponge me. Just give me the bad guy. Just give me the bad guy. Don't. And like, so I haven't gone. I'm sure during the summer I'll get back to playing those games again and finish them because they are fun. Like, no questions asked. The Division 2 is an absolute blast. I enjoy it. And Breakpoint is fun in its own way because it allows you to have like settings which allow you to cheat so you're not getting killed all the dang time. Yep. But even like the Ghost Recon, I don't even remember the Ghost Recon one that I really hated and I still hate to this day. Ghost Recon Wildlands. Oh, I hate that game. It is so frustrating. It has very positive ratings, but that's a lie because that, like,
because you get to shoot everybody.
You do, but it's like, it's hard. Like, you can't, like, it really makes you double down on the effort of having to have tactics and stuff. And I get that, but I'm like, but what if I'm not a guy who wants to do tactics? What if I just want to experience a story and kill the bad guys and win? Yep. You're not letting me do that. You're making it really hard to do that. And so the nice thing within Breakpoint is you have the settings that allow you to do that. Okay, you get shot, you won't get injured as much. If you jump off of something, you won't hurt as much. You'll heal quicker. Like, they give you that ability to adjust your settings. So if you want to play it hard and regular, you can. And I wondered and I waited to if Ghost Recon Wildlands would do the same thing. They didn't. I haven't logged back in. But it's like, I want, like, and Wildlands is huge. The game map is massive. But you end up doing a lot of the same things. And that's the other part. So I'm just kind of like, my gaming interest right now is just like, whatever. Yeah. Like, there's nothing really out there that's like, ooh, let me play that. Yeah. I don't know if you saw, what did I see that they put out? Oh, I should have saved it. They put out, it's regarding a TV show. This is off topic. But you remember the 70s show? Yeah. They're putting out a 90s show with the original stars on Netflix. I don't know.
Why is Netflix doing this?
I don't know.
They lost. How many subscribers have they lost?
Let's talk about that for a second. So here's the thing about Netflix. And this is the streaming wars that we've been dealing with for the past couple of years. Yep. At back in the day, and we're old enough to remember this, and some people aren't who listen to our podcast, but Netflix at one time was a DVD-only service.
They were.
And that was, like, it was a big deal. Like,
it was cool.
Yeah, when you got your DVDs in the mail, man, you were excited. You got to go open them, and, like, you sent them back, and it was great. And then Netflix started doing streaming, and that was a game changer. And the nice thing was that Netflix was really the only guy in town. So all the other companies were like, okay, well, we want people to stream our services, stream our shows. Well, we want to make money for it. Okay, well, Netflix, you got to pay us to put your shows, and we'll figure out a financial agreement and whatever. And it worked. So you could watch, Star Trek, the original series. You could watch all of your Star Trek. You could watch your James Bond. You could watch everything was on Netflix.
It was.
And it was great. And you paid a simple price. And you got to watch, and you like Friends was Friends is. Oh yeah. When Friends left Netflix, that was a hit. When The Office left Netflix, that was a hit because people would go back and they'd binge and they'd watch that show because it's a comfortable friend. Like the Friends for a lot of people, both old school and new, is a cultural touch point that everyone can agree on. It's a
It
good
is.
show. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
It's funny, and you get to watch them. And
I agree with that.
And they never grow old. Like, they're
Nope.
always there for you. I'll be there for you. Anyway, so
When the rain starts to pour.
when the rain starts to pour, it's actually going to rain here in a little bit, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Sweet.
We're going to get some rain today. So, like, Netflix used to be that place. It used to be where you could go and you could find, and then they started producing their own content, which was interesting. Some of it was good. Like, you're like, okay, all right, Netflix is starting to put in their own TV shows and stuff like that. And then things went awry because then everyone started having their own streaming. Well, Hulu came along. So Hulu was next.
Hulu's awesome.
And Hulu started to kind of like getting the market on live TV. So if you wanted to watch a show that you didn't have time to DVR, which doesn't really exist anymore, if you had a show that you didn't have time to watch or whatever, you could sign up for a subscription with Hulu. Hulu would then, you would like select, hey, I want to watch these shows, update me when new episodes come up. So when the show aired, they would conversely upload onto Hulu, and you could then go watch it out after the episode came on live TV.
Pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
It was legit. And so Hulu had that market covered. Because Netflix was more like, okay, well, if you're looking for old school shows or like movies that are a little bit older and we're producing our own content a little bit, like, and the balance was good.
It was.
Hulu and Netflix weren't really competing. They were just kind of in the same neighborhood but down different streets.
Yep.
And then everything started to really go off the rails because everyone started their own services. Like, so Amazon Prime came along. Amazon Prime Video. And they started being, well, you can get movies on our services now, and you can pay for an Amazon Prime, and you can actually get supplementary services. You can get like HBO through Amazon. You can get Stars through Amazon. It's an add-on. So you can add on to your Prime membership with like a $5 or $10 a month charge, and you can get BritBox. You can get all these things. And so suddenly now the balance that had been established and held for so long and had worked so well for consumers was suddenly now tipping towards the producers.
Yeah.
So then when everyone started figuring out, oh, we can start our own streaming services relatively inexpensively because we just buy the storage and we just do it through Amazon or whoever, and we get our storage space and we get our services and our UI fixed up, we can do it. So that's why you had Paramount Plus. That's why you had CBS Now. You had all like NBC, like Peacock has become a force of nature now.
It's huge, yeah.
And so you have all these services now.
Yep.
And people are getting cranky. And they wonder why they're getting cranky. It's like, okay, well, you took Star Trek off of Netflix, you took Friends off of Netflix, you took The Office off of Netflix, and now you're taking everything else. And so the problem for Netflix is originally there's actually a tweet. It's a meme. I have my own feelings about memes. I think they're cool, but sometimes they get out of control. But there's a meme where back in the day, Netflix had a tweet like 10 years ago or 5 years ago that was like, love is sharing your password. Well, you know now that they are cracking down on that in the last couple of months.
They're stopping it.
Yeah, they're coming out and saying, if you're sharing your password, we're gonna throttle you, or we're gonna make you create another account. You have to pay extra, whatever. Because they realize they realize that people like don't want to have to pay for a Netflix subscription. Like, if I have one, okay, I'll just add me as a user and I'll sign in and like, or I'll just use your password and get in. And so now Netflix is like, oh, we got a problem. And then what happened is people got mad and they're like, you're gonna raise the price and you're gonna call us out for sharing passwords? We done. And here's the harsh reality: like AMC stuff that's on Netflix.
Yep.
Once those shows are over, I'm not like, so I'm watching Better Call Saul, and I love that show.
Better what?
Better
now?
Call Saul. So it's an offshoot off of oh shoot, I should know the original show. Hold on, Better Call Saul offshoot.
I just saw
related to Breaking Bad. So I could never get into Breaking Bad. I can't get into Breaking Bad. It's not my show. It's not my jam. However, Better Call Saul is from the perspective of the character of the lawyer that was in that show, apparently. Again, I haven't watched it, so I don't know. Yep. But Better Call Saul is a really cool, revolutionary, for me at least, in how it's written and how the characters are portrayed.
Yep.
It is legit. It is impressive, and I'm just like, dang. So they uploaded the latest season to Netflix, and I watched it all, and it was amazing, and I loved it. The next season is now showing on AMC, so I got to wait until it uploads to Netflix. But that again is like, and that's the thing. Is like, okay, well, what if I just go and do AMC as a streaming service? Mm-hmm. But then I'm now going to be paying another $7 on top of my $17.99 from Netflix. Then I've got Discovery Plus, which is $6.99. So because I watch Dirty Jobs, I love Mike Rowe and his show.
I love Dirty Jobs.
I don't have the time to watch his show when it's broadcast on cable.
Yeah.
So I've got that. So then we had Hulu for a while because we were watching ER. That's another $12.99 there. So you start to add it up. It turns into like $100 a month, which is generally what you used to pay for cable.
Generally, yeah.
And it's just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, even on Amazon, like some of the movies, like the self-produced content they've done, Wheel of Time is my biggest example. I tapped out after like episode 3. It's based on a book series by Robert. Hold on.
Robert something.
Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, who's a legit legend in the sci-fi community.
Yep.
Apparently, the book series is amazing, but Amazon adapted it for a television show. And it got about three episodes in for me, and I had not read the book series, so I didn't know if I should be offended because it distracts so much from the book series, or if it's following so closely. But I tapped out. I was like, "This is this is writing for children." We've talked about how games are written and how they need to be intelligent and how you treat your people like they're treat your gamer like they're smart.
Yep.
Well, this series was treating me like I was a small child, and I was like, "I'm done, tapping out. Bye, see ya, good night."
Yep.
And so there's like that. So on Amazon, there's Upload is a TV series.
I've never heard of that.
Okay, you have to check it out. It's up your alley computer-wise, but it's basically the idea of when people die, they upload their consciousness into a hive mind computer virtual reality service. So they're able to live out eternity with their consciousness in various places according to how much money they have. So if you're one of the poors, you live in a certain part where you don't have a lot of bandwidth, so you can only do so many things before you're frozen until the next month's bandwidth resets. Similar to kind of like cell phones used to work, where you hit your bandwidth limit, you're off for a month, you'll be back on, and you'll be back on the first.
Okay, and what's the name of that?
It's called Upload.
Okay, yeah, I'm watching that.
It's on Amazon. It is fascinating. I think it's the first 2 seasons so far. And it's intense, but it's also really it leans fully into telling the story. Like it doesn't it literally it shows you, okay, this is what the future will look like if we go this direction. There's a lot of questions about, okay, well, how do we treat people, or how do we do this, or how do we do that, or what's the integrity of this? Like, what decisions are we going to make? How's it going to affect humanity?
Man.
There is a political subplot that starts happening in the latter half of season 2 as it transitions probably into what they're going to do for season 3. And it's the idea that, they're going to upload people early. The poors are going to get uploaded to a free service. But once they're uploaded, they can't vote because they're dead. And so there's this weird the voters are going to be disenfranchised. And I was like, look.
Stop it.
This is not okay, I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to make an issue about voting, which has been a political hot potato for quite some time in the last year plus. But don't bring it into my show, man. Find something else. Find.
Why do they do that? Just tell the story, man.
I get it. But it feels like a reach when they mention it. When they suddenly say, "Well, this is why they're doing it." Instead, what I would have wanted them to say is "Hey, they're trying to get rid of the poor people." So then the poor people don't have to provide services to the poor people. Okay. So now there's no longer the need to support them. So they're dead and they're uploaded, and now we no longer have to worry about them. Versus the voting idea is this is going to change the election. I'm like, okay, you know what? No, we're done. We're done here. Tapping out. I'm out. Stop. So that happens towards the end of that second season, and I'm just like, But it's a good show overall. It is a very interesting, a lot of interwoven kind of conversations.
Sounds really cool.
It is very interesting because I told you about AMC has the *Halt and Catch Fire* series, which is all about the computer world, and that's a fun series to watch. It's obviously ended.
Johnny Depp did a movie, Transcendence.
I am not familiar with that.
This movie. Okay, we're going off on movies now.
Okay, Transcendence.
This movie right
2014,
here.
Huh?
Yeah, this movie right here, man. Now this thing is phenomenal. So what ends up happening is he dies.
Okay.
He takes his consciousness and uploads it into a computer.
Okay.
Exactly like what you were saying with that show.
Upload, yeah.
Exactly like that. Where he just uploads his consciousness into an AI machine, kind of.
Okay.
It's crazy, man. It's the craziest thing you ever seen. It is very good, though. I really like Upload, man. I'm going to check that out.
Okay.
Sounds cool.
It's a good series.
You said it's on
Amazon.
Oh,
but that's the thing is
you
have to there's stuff on Amazon. There's stuff so that's the issue with a lot of these streaming services. And what I don't think they realize is Like, there are ways to get, and I would never recommend this. This is not my path.
Disclaimer.
This is absolutely not what I would say you should do, because it is illegal and it is against the law, and I do not support, engage, or in no way, state, or form am I saying these are things you should do, because I don't want to break the law. Like, that's just not my jam.
Nope.
But there are sources and ways, and the code word is you find it in the Pirate Bay, because Pirate Bay is a massive online source for pirated copies of digital TV shows, movies, and things like that. Like,
we're not endorsing this.
No, God no, because that would be illegal. But what I think a lot of these companies forget is that services are still very much alive.
Yeah,
and very much functional.
Yeah, they are.
And so instead of being like, hey, let's figure out a way, like, maybe don't produce as much junk. Because some of the stuff that Netflix produces isn't great.
It's crap.
Like, it's just like, okay, why did you even make this? And because somebody even mentions in an article I was reading that Netflix is more of a quantitative production versus quality production.
Oh, that's
so they're producing more content in hopes that it sticks versus actually making it quality.
That's bad.
And there's a danger in that, because if you try and, like, there's a reason why people make a joke about the Lifetime Christmas movies and the Hallmark Christmas movies, because they're just copy and pasted. They are literally hundreds of thousands of these movies over the last couple of years that are just, and they serve no intelligent purpose.
Nope.
They're just there as candy. But they made so much of it that it's become a joke. And like, blah, blah, blah. So, like, that's the danger for Netflix and all these companies is that if they can't establish themselves, like, okay, we have quality stuff that's worth paying for, versus, well, we just have a bunch of shows that are awesome, that we think that are great. We just keep producing good content. Okay, well, that's not going to help me. Like, I don't want to watch your shows if that's all you're doing is just churning out random stuff. It's a part of why, like, a lot of people, like with Paramount Plus, like with Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, people were hesitant to sign up because, like, I don't want to watch that. But you have to sign up for Paramount Plus to watch Voyager, DS9,
and Picard,
and Next Generation, and all that. And I did sign up for Paramount Plus through T-Mobile because we get an offer for a full year free. But I started watching Voyager again, the first season of Voyager, and I love Star Trek Voyager.
I love Star Trek.
Captain Janeway is just like a sassy pants McGee in that show. Like, in the first 4 or 5 episodes, I'm just like, oh, I've missed you, Janeway. Yep. Captain Janeway, take me home. Like, let's just run the ship, man. Just keep going. Let's do this. And even the Next Generation. Like, I want to go back and watch the Next Generation. I want to go watch DS9.
Oh,
so I did. I gave up. I said, okay, I'll sign up for Paramount Plus, whatever. And so the deal with Paramount is that you have access to all their movies. So all the Paramount movies, so all the Star Trek movies, all the Star Trek, like all of the content in Star Trek is there. And Strange New Worlds, which is the new show coming out that features the Enterprise before Kirk, that will be coming out in May. And so that's a big selling point, because they're going back to the episodic nature of Star Trek versus just, okay, we're just churning out a season-long epic that nobody likes because it's just stretched out beyond belief and everyone hates it. Discovery and Picard. So, like, the thing about this is that you have so many different streaming services.
There's tons of them.
You still have, Roku is still hanging out there somewhere. Like, I haven't heard anything
successful
about it.
Successful too.
Yeah, successful. But it's like, and even YouTube. Do you remember when YouTube used to have TV? Like, YouTube actually produced television content.
I do. Yeah.
They don't anymore that I know of, or they don't nobody's paying attention to it. But they tried. Like, even Yahoo bought out Community, the television show Community, and produced a season of it, because they were like, oh, we're gonna do our own streaming service. It was like, no, you're not.
It's not that easy.
You're not doing it.
No.
And then it got picked up by Netflix, and then it just whatever. So but that's the thing about all these streaming services. There's so many, and there's so many ways to get it. And I don't think the average executive understands what streaming fatigue is going to do to people. But people are just going to be like, I'm done.
I'm done with this.
I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I'll just stay on Amazon, because that'll be my centralized command where I'll get all my shows, or I'll go buy maybe I'm wrong. Because here's the thing: you can't really buy a lot of DVDs on hand. They're all digital. So the question is like, okay, like, what if Amazon goes out? What if Amazon goes down? What if that multi-billion-dollar company eventually, like, you don't own whatever you own goes with them, because it's not a physical copy of that movie.
It's true.
It's a digital download that you access their servers to get.
That's a good point.
And it's the same with Steam.
Good point.
Most of my games on Steam are all electronically owned.
Mine too. All of them are.
What happens, like, when a day comes when, like Steam isn't as profitable anymore, and if it fails or if it gets broken up or like I don't know if that'll happen, but that's like a legit thing of like.
It's a good question.
Well, and that's the beauty of technology is that you own everything digitally.
Yep.
But and so you don't have to have your crowded shelves and whatever else. But it's also like you don't own. I mean, you own it, but you don't own it. Amazon has.
You have the rights.
You have the rights to
access it.
To access it, but they own the property. They own the piece. They own the digital concept.
Yep.
And that was a thing about like I don't know how Apple Music works these days, but Apple was like you bought the music and it did download. It was in Apple format, but you downloaded it onto your computer and you had it.
You can. I have Apple Music.
Yeah, so you have Apple Music and Apple Movies. You could download the movie files and they would be on your computer and stuff like that. And so in that way, I like as much as I don't like Apple. That part of their platform works for me.
It does.
But everywhere else, I mean, you think about it, Netflix takes off shows. Like we were watching Justified, I think on Netflix at one point.
Oh yeah.
And we got almost halfway through, and then there was a little note that said Justified will be pulled off Netflix at the end of the month. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like,
why?
So at that point, then we had to go figure out where was it going to be moving to stream-wise.
Yeah.
So it was moving to Hulu. So we had to get a Hulu subscription to watch the rest of Justified. Because that's where it was going. And I think that's where Justified sits now. It sits on Hulu. But it's like they will do that. Like shows will go away, and it's like
Netflix is the worst.
Yeah, because they'll cycle them out and they won't really give an explanation. Yeah. But the other thing is like stuff like NBC's products, like they're going to pull them because they're going to even Marvel's. It's all gone to Disney Plus. There are no more Marvel movies really on Netflix because Marvel has taken back control of that, and that's where you get it on Disney Plus. And that's a whole other thing because Disney Plus is another one of those. Like it's another layer. And I can guarantee you that parents across the country have signed up for Disney Plus because it has all the Disney movies on it so the kids can watch it. So they can just have fun with their kids and they don't have to worry about whatever. So it's just there. So
I did it because it was $1.
The Disney Plus?
So here's how my stuff works. So we have HBO Max.
Yep.
We get it with our AT&T cell phone service. They just gave it to us because we have the top tier deal. So there is one thing about Netflix I absolutely despise. It's this show right here, The Maid.
Okay.
On Netflix. One of the best shows I have ever watched.
Really? Huh.
And they cut it.
What?
I'm like, are y'all stupid? What are you doing?
Why did they say why they cut it?
No, they didn't. They have it. I've been waiting
for the new season.
And it has yet to come out. And then when I look up, hey, like when's this coming out? They're like, we don't know.
So Maid season 2?
Yeah. Oh goodness. Oh my goodness. Is this it?
This is back in January.
What we know so far. Yeah, when I looked it up, it was a few months ago. I couldn't find anything. That is a really, I would recommend, it's about, okay. So I got to get into this one because this show's really good.
Let's talk about it for a second.
So this show, The Maid, is based on a girl who is, she's kind of, she's not rich by any stretch of the imagination. She's very poor.
Yeah.
And that was creepy looking. And so she decides to start to work for a cleaning lady, right?
Yeah.
In cleaning houses. So then she struggles, man. It is awesome to see the struggle that she has. It's pretty cool because me and my wife kind of struggled in a similar fashion.
Yeah.
And so I know what that feels like. And man, it just gets better and better and it comes toward the end of the first season, she starts her own business.
Oh, okay.
Which is awesome. It's just a very good show. I really like that one. I wish to goodness they would. Yeah,
there's no definite answer. There's a video here, but I have a feeling that it's not.
No.
It's not. It's not actually a. It's not actually a. So this is a video. Yeah, this is like a 9-minute. Good Lord. So there's no comments. So this thing has like 709 views. So what this dude is trying to do, I'm guessing, is trying to get people to watch his videos by saying, "Made season 2 trailer, the new life," but it's not actually.
Yeah, it's
like they're probably talking about like, oh, there's a lot of buzz about season 2 or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, no, there's no season 2 release date as far as we can tell. The articles are back from January of 2022.
Yeah.
There's nothing recent. And I think that's the problem. I think with a lot of people, like you said, there are shows that you like genuinely get into on Netflix and you love.
I like that one.
And then they just cancel them. because they're not getting enough views or they're not getting enough audience, or they just
oh my goodness,
whatever they do, they just get rid of it. And I'm just like, this is again why people will not come back to your service. And like we're like once I get through, so I'm watching Ozark and I'm watching Better Call Saul. And I've got like one. I'm going through Supernatural again, just because I love watching Supernatural.
Okay, can we talk about that one?
Sure, we can talk about Supernatural. So I'm going back through, and I'm on season 2, I think now. It's a 15 season.
15
so
season.
If you're wondering what Supernatural is, it's the Winchester brothers. It's 15 years of show. It's 15 seasons of lore. Some would argue that it went longer than it should have, and that the way that it ended was kind of rushed. I think it was rushed.
It was rushed, yeah.
I was disappointed with what they did. But the beginning of the series, the first couple seasons, and upwards of like I'd say the first 10 or 11 are just, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, we can let's talk about Supernatural. So it's the lore of it is the idea that Sam and Dean are hunters. They're supernatural hunters.
Yep.
And they hunt vampires. They start out very, very, very small. Like, okay, we're
Wendigos.
hunting demons, Wendigos. They're hunting Bloody Mary, various things. And then the world starts to open up more.
Yeah.
And the vampires make an appearance, I think, in season 2.
It is season 2.
And Sam or Dean is like, they were extinct. And they're like, well, they're back and they're here. And from there, as the seasons go on, I guess I'm going to talk about why you enjoy it so much. What's your jam on with Supernatural?
So I think it's like we've talked about 1,000 times before.
Yeah.
The story is everything.
Yeah.
The story, to me, I cannot stand a TV show or a movie when they butcher the story.
Yeah.
And most of them do it.
Yeah.
They just butcher it. Like, why would you do that? But with Supernatural, I believe their strength is that they have people who are talented writers who know how to write very well.
Yes.
I think.
Oh yeah.
And can carry. I mean, to carry a story for 15 years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
How do you even do that? That's incredible.
Some of it was they kind of like. They made a grand casting of it, but then they had to kind of twist it, like in those last couple of seasons. I think they had to rework some of the lore a little bit. But I think it's a good show because it's consistent for the most part.
It is consistent,
and you come to even the bad guys, you come to love them.
You do,
because they're very evil and they chew the scenery up really well.
Yeah,
from Rowena to the devil himself to death.
Rowena.
Like all those characters, you just you get a personal sense of they're mean, they're bad, they can't be trusted. And even like Crowley and all those guys, like it's a show of, it becomes towards the middle of the show, I think, or kind of the first third of the show, it becomes kind of like not just about Sam and Dean. There are so many different pieces that are moving on the good and the bad side.
All at one time, too.
Right. It's and eventually God appears, and we see him for a little bit, and then he's gone, and then he comes back. And but they take the religious lore and the religious theology, and they make it into something that, while I would probably say I don't know if that's really true, but it's made its sense in the law, and to an audience who may not be the theological experts or whatever. And it's an entertaining show. Like, there's a reason why I'm going back and watching it, because it's just that much fun.
I've watched it 4 times.
Oh, jeez. I've made it through once. I've done the one run through, and now I'm on my second run through.
I love that show.
It's just a lot of fun. Like, I will fast forward through a lot of the gross parts because it involves, stabbing demons and shooting bad guys and things. So I'll fast forward a little bit, but I enjoy the dynamic between Sam and Dean. I enjoy the dynamic between the characters. I enjoy how they tell that story because, again, like you said, they trust you as a smart person, and they're not letting you down with poor storytelling.
Yeah,
they're getting that story in there, and they're really sinking it in, and it's a kick in the pants.
It is. It's very and I like it because they, and for instance, like when they bring in what's his name, the angel dude.
Oh, Castiel.
Yeah. I was like, he like walks in the little building and like the wings come out.
Yeah,
that was sweet.
Yeah.
It's just a good story, man.
It's a fun little story.
It is. Do you remember the one, I think it's called The French Connection, season 6?
Mm.
It's where they see themselves as like the TV show.
Yeah.
That was hilarious, man. That's
I think because Jensen Ackles, who plays Dean, I believe, he was in The Young and the Restless.
He was,
and so they show up in this universe, and there's like a YouTube video of Jensen Ackles in The Young and the Restless, and he turns to Sam and he says, "Sam, we gotta get the hell out of this universe. I don't want this world. I don't like this world. It scares me." Because he's like emoting and being all like,
it was good.
Soap opera like. He's just like, "Get us out of here." But no, they like, and they do. They it gets fresher. It kind of, the freshening of it kind of continues. I will say that last season is a bit of a hot mess.
It's crazy.
Partially because it came in the middle of COVID. And you can tell how they were having to have COVID restrictions in the filming. You can see how people were separated, and they were all in a dome. Like, they were all, the actors were together. It was just like, okay, like, I get it, but you probably could have figured out a way to not show the effect of COVID on your production. And I know that's a big ask of anybody.
Yeah,
I don't work in the television industry, but when you see it, and you're just like,
you can tell.
I know what happened here. And it didn't like the ending of it. And spoiler alert, if you're listening, you might want to skip ahead a couple minutes or so. But eventually, Dean dies right away.
He does,
and not in a like dramatic way. He just gets stabbed and then he's dead.
Yep.
And then Sam lives forever until he dies of an old age, and they meet back in heaven. And of course, Dean is still the same age he was when he died, and Sam is the same age and whatever. But what I didn't like about it is that it ended the story.
Yeah.
Like, definitively ended the story. And I get it. Like, you're like, well, we don't know if we'll be back. It's like, well, look, here's the deal. Like, and part of what people said is the reason why Dean dies in the end of Supernatural is because the plot armor that he had enjoyed from God, who was kind of instrumentally moving the story around, was gone. He was no longer protected by Chuck for Chuck's entertainment.
Exactly.
And so the real risks of him actually dying were back on. Like, he's fully human now. He's going to die. And I get that, but it's also like, look, don't subvert my expectations.
No.
Tell me a story that ends well, and they ended well with them like being in heaven on the bridge and driving
together.
The car. Yeah. But it's like I want to see Sam and Dean one more go. I want to see a reunion where they bring them back in a couple years, and there's already talk about bringing them back in a reboot or something.
Oh my God!
I know. But like my point is that if you had them like back together and they were back on the road and there were still some things they got to fight, or they like, hey, we're gonna settle down. That would give the opportunity in like a couple of years to reunite them. Something happens, okay? Like a demon possession breakout happens in the country somewhere. Something bad, or there's a break. Like, there's any way you could do it. I mean, they wrote 15 years worth of this stuff. They can figure out a way around it.
Oh yeah, they can.
And it would just be fun to have them back in the saddle again.
It would.
And to see that. And I know like Sam's character, Sam the actor, I don't remember his name, Jared Padalecki. He was in Gilmore Girls too, because that was fun. And
Walker, Texas Ranger.
That's his new show, Walker, Texas Ranger.
Which sucked.
I haven't heard good things.
Yeah, it sucked. I didn't like it.
I haven't heard good things about it. So
I tried to give it a good chance, but after the second episode, I'm like,
you're like done.
Done.
Like, how can you compete with Chuck Norris as the original Walker, Texas Ranger? Like, why even try that? Like, don't call it Walker, Texas Ranger. Just call it Ranger. Yeah, like, don't call it Walker. He's not Chuck Norris.
He's not Walker.
No, that's not how that works.
That's Chuck Norris.
Ugh. And that's, again, we come back to that. Like, they reboot shows and they try and make it new again. It's like, just don't. Well, and that's a big complaint. So
Kill it.
We are all over the place with this episode right now. But
yeah, we are.
So Walking Dead, there's supposed to be a series with Daryl and Carol.
Really?
Because they're like good. They're close. The relationship's dynamic.
Yeah.
And it was gonna be a show in Europe or something, and it was gonna be great. We're looking for it. So then she dropped out for whatever reason. I can't remember what it was. It was just announced recently. And so they're like, okay, we're just gonna have a show about Daryl. And it's like,
oh my, you need
to
stop.
As good as Norman Reedus is, because he's good. He's an incredible actor with incredible range.
He is.
He needs someone to play off of. He needs someone to walk along with. And the danger, what I'm worried they're gonna have to do is they're gonna have to create another character to start to build back up with him again, and then they're going to try and like smash it together quickly so that the dynamic is like really rocking by the second episode. It's like, no, because like those two, their relationship and their history within the series is important and it matters.
It is, yeah.
And you can't not have that. And there's also talk. I haven't caught up on the latest episodes of The Walking Dead, but like Rick is supposed to start in his own movies. That's why he was pulled off in the season before now. Like, he vanished.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it made me cranky. Like, I was just like, why would you like
y'all.
Rick Grimes is the standard holder here.
He is.
He is the one holding the flame. And I know why they took like they're like, well, we're going to have him in his own movie, so we have to give other characters a chance. And it's like, no,
Stop it.
Rick Grimes is the standard. He's the only one left, and you take him out, and now everyone has to carry the weight of being Rick Grimes, and they can't because they're not Rick Grimes. Again, storytelling. How you like? Okay, cool. You want to take him out of rotation, then build a movie around him. But what happens when that movie doesn't work? Like Norman Reedus and Carol, like those two characters, the example. She's not gonna be able to do it. Well, now it's on him. So now you got to figure out how to make that work. And will that actually work? Will viewers tune in? Will they have patience with it? And the answer is, I don't know.
We don't know.
Because a majority of fans are like, yeah, Carol and Daryl are the jam. Like, that's what we want. We want to see those two continue on their adventures together. We want to see them find and have shenanigans and all these things. But now you don't. And so, like, there's talk about how this is all going to... It just makes me sad because it's like you could tell a great story if you weren't so motivated about making it. Like, because the reason why they said they wanted to make it, like, they've put on the schedule, like, 2 or 3 Rick Grimes movies. And I'm like, why? Oh, it's more money. I see how we're working now. So you want to make more money off the Rick Grimes character. So instead of actually keeping him in the story in the series and finishing that well, no, we're going to take him off, and then we're going to put him here and then whatever. Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
it makes no sense. But that's television, and we're not in charge of it. So whatever, they can take a flying leap. So like, but that's again, it's like
I wish we were.
Oh my God,
it would be it would be better.
Probably. Well, there's a lot, and that's a lot of what people are talking about. Is that they're just like, I could have written a better ending than this. I could have done it. Like, what, you were paid millions of dollars to do this, and I just thought of it right now. We've done that with me and James when we're on Nerds by Screenlight.
Oh,
We've talked about how, like, when we talk about a show or we talk about a movie, and within 5 minutes we figured out a better plot line.
Oh yeah,
we figured out a better ending, and it's just like,
come on, y'all.
Yeah, come on, y'all. Get this figured out.
It's not that bad.
So anyway, that's the wanderings of today's episode.
It was awesome. I like that. That was cool.
Yeah. I gotta play more games. We have 4 weeks of school left, so my hope is that as soon as school comes to an end and I have some time in the summer, I'm gonna play some more games and get back into it. But for now, we're just kind of we're playing some games, but there's not like Starfield is coming in November. Starfield is the one we're worried about, and Bethesda's either going to make it or break it. I think here's my prediction. I think I've talked about this before. If Starfield doesn't work and doesn't go well, I think it's the end for Bethesda.
I do too.
I think they're done.
I hope they.
And I think Microsoft is going to regret purchasing them for the amount of money they shoveled into it. Because because Fallout 76 was the last launch they had, and it was bad.
That's horrible.
And it's taken time to repair it. If Starfield comes out and it bombs, there's not a lot of like, oh, well, we'll do better next time. It's like, well, you did bad the last time. You did bad again. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Like, fool me thrice. You're not going to fool me 3 times. No, it's not how that works.
Yeah.
So,
I
don't know.
I think it's like when your focus is all about money.
Yeah.
The story suffers, and the game suffers, and the movie suffers.
That was the deal with Anthem. Anthem was the moneymaker.
Oh,
yeah, we're going to make so much money off of it. And I was like, and your game design sucked. And so that's what you ended up with. You ended up with a sucky game, and you ended up with this fan base who was just upset because they were being ripped off. And you had loot boxes, and you had all this stuff. And people were like, it doesn't even work. Why are you asking me to pay? What is wrong with you?
It doesn't even work.
And it's EA, because EA is... I will never forgive EA for destroying the Maxis team.
Yeah, they killed
the SimCity that launched was not a product of an actual living, breathing Sims team. It was the product of a corporate EA designed to destroy. And I was just like, no, I'm not doing this. And I haven't played The Sims 4 recently. Like, I started playing. I think I talked about that. I was playing The Sims 4, and I was like, oh, kind of fun. But I miss The Sims 3 and the freeness of being able to go anywhere in the world and not have to have loading screens. I'm just like, the updates, they're cool, but they're not like, woo, game changing. Like, I want to keep playing this game. It's like, I have to go load myself, and then when I get to the location that I load into, it takes people all of a sudden pop in. They're not actually organically there.
Yeah.
Like, they show up, and then they start doing stuff. And it's just like,
That's
you
whack.
have billions of dollars. Get this game fixed. I think they finally fixed the wedding issue. The game pack that was the wedding. It took them like a month and a half. I was watching some videos, and people were like, yeah, they finally fixed it. I'm like, it took them a month and a half. How is that possible?
And they wanted you to pay for it.
Yeah, they wanted you to pay for the broken mess. And they really didn't talk about why it was broken. They just quietly updated it and fixed it.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know.
I got one more.
Okay, what you got?
Warzone.
Warzone.
I did something I have never done before, ever.
Oh, boy.
I bought a skin.
Oh.
It's the Snoop Dogg skin.
Oh,
I know, but
Chris,
it's
I'm worried
very
about
cool.
you. Warzone 2100 or just Warzone?
Just Warzone from Call of Duty Warzone.
Okay, Call of Duty Warzone.
I saw it and I'm like, you know what? I talked to my son. My son's like, yeah, Daddy, those guns are awesome. So I bought it just to get the guns.
Okay.
The problem is that it is not fair for somebody who is just starting out.
Yeah.
It's not fair for them.
Of course not.
It's just not fair, man. You can't expect somebody who's that new to be able to even come close to competing with people who have those kind of weapons.
Okay.
And so I bought my son one, my other son one, and my brother-in-law one.
Okay.
Because we play a lot. We play that one together a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
And Snoop Dogg's kind of cool. Way he talks.
Well, he's had a lot of staying power. He's kept his career alive over however many years. I think Snoop Dogg is a Snoop.
He's 50 years old.
Yeah, he is the same age. So age. Snoop. Yeah, he is. Yeah, Snoop Dogg is 50 years old. Snoop Dogg is the same age as Will Smith.
Oh.
Like 2 years difference.
So Snoop Dogg's career's taken off and Will destroyed his.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing. We're old enough to remember these guys when they were in their peak, right?
Yeah.
But that also means we're getting old. So like Eminem, he's 49 years old.
Holy crap.
Mary J. Blige is 51. Dr. Dre is 57.
Holy
So
crap.
like all of our contemporaries are at least 10 years older than us. So I'm 40. So anybody that I would have followed in the music industry or anything, they're old. Now, 50's not old. 50's halfway through the life cycle, but like we forget how like Snoop Dogg looks pretty good for his age.
He does.
I mean, Eminem, he's starting to look a little older, but he looks pretty good. Mary J. Blige looks great. Dr. Dre looks all right. Like, but we forget how old they are. Like that was the whole thing with Will Smith. People were like, "Oh, that's terrible." I was like, "Hold up, Will Smith's 52 years old," and the kids were like, "What?" And I was like, "He is a grown man. He is 52. He knows better." Everyone and like, well, and like, no. If he was 21, 22, maybe 23, maybe we can talk about, okay, he was an idiot, he was off the handle. But when you're 52 years old, you have learned, or you should have learned, how to handle your business.
You better.
And so, yeah, it's weird to think about that. Like, I mean, not that I really want to know how old Smash Mouth is. Smash Mouth
48
age. Smash Mouth. Yep, he is
67. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 55. He's 55
Holy
years old.
crap.
So Steve Harwell is the lead for Smash Mouth.
That's insane.
But yeah, when we were younger, when I was in high school in 2001 when I graduated, he was young. He was hip, he was hopping, and he was doing cool stuff. And now it's like, oh man, we're 50 years old. I'm 10 years away from 50. I don't know how I feel about any of this.
Better get his walker when he walks up on stage.
Somebody once called me. Or what is the song? The Smash Mouth. Somebody once told me the world is gonna own me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. You can make a variation on like, my walker's kind of lame. Yeah. Oh, now we're just being mean. All right, well, on that note,
pretty funny though.
I'm sure he would chuckle at it.
He would,
or he would sue us for libel. Whatever comes first.
Oh yeah.
Please don't sue us, Smash Mouth. We don't have any money. All right, well there you go. There's a smattering of content and conversation today on the County Gamers.
That's good.
We'll be back in 2 weeks, hopefully to talk about some more games and all that kind of stuff. My name is Aaron.
And my name is Chris.
This has been an absolute blast and pleasure. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye, y'all.
You've been listening to the County Gamers Podcast, presented by Create at Morgan Productions, located in Fort Morgan, Colorado, USA. For more information on our production house, other podcasts that are hosted here, and further details, please visit www.createatmorgan.org. You can find us on Twitter at the handle CreateAtMorgan. Create at Morgan is a school club at Lincoln High School, our alternative education campus here in Morgan County. Our sponsor is Aaron DeLay, the language arts teacher at Lincoln. Send any feedback to adelayedteacher@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our podcast.